Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I was just sitting here having a few games of World of Warships. I've just completed the latest stage of the Big Mammy campaign. So I wasn't really striving for anything, just doing a little bit of resource grinding, I guess you could say. And one of my friends messaged me and just told me that he's got World of Warships and asked me for a tip on a destroyer, a cruiser and a battleship to sort of start off with, something that's that I think personally is going to work, something that is reasonably easy to play and will get him a few credits. Anyway, went through a fair bit of a explanation with him, but I thought, why not just do a little video on that? So here I am. Now I'm going to give you probably the three ships that I would say that, more lately, that I grind with. There's one, of course, that I've had for a very, very, very long time, and it's my favourite ship in the game. And I'm going to leave her until last. One of them I've sort of didn't get into until a little bit later I got into the game, probably about halfway through, and have loved it ever since. And the first one we're going to do is one that I only actually got actually not that long ago. And just by chance, when I did get it, it was on sale. I absolutely fell in love with it, and I've been using it ever since. And then I'm also going to give sort of an alternative ship to each one. It's just another ship that I really enjoy using, and it's a lot of fun, but it's not necessarily my go-to. Now these ships are one is a tier 3, one is a tier 4, one is a tier 5. So they're pretty low down in the tier system. You can get into them pretty quick. I did want to stay clear of premium ships, but unfortunately I had to choose one that was premium because I absolutely love it. And it was on sale when I did purchase her, and it was extremely cheap. I'm not sure how much she is now. Hopefully she's still on sale and you're able to pick her up in one of the little packs. I believe it was like a captain's pack or something like that. And it's one of the best things I've actually purchased in the game. So I'm going to give a little bit of a description on each one, some of the reasons that I love using it. And I'm going to put a link in the description below to some videos that I've made on each of the ships, so you can check them out and see what I'm sort of talking about, as the video will go way too long if I'm going to put in a bit of gameplay with each one. So I'll leave that up to you. If there is a ship you're interested in, pop below and have a look at some of the videos. Now, two of the ships I have Kraken Unleashed medals for. One of them I have many Kraken Unleashed medals. And one of them I was very surprised. I thought I had multiple Kraken Unleashed medal videos of her, but it was actually another ship. And that's going to be the alternative ship. But I was very surprised by that. I could swear I had many games. But I would say, as usual, I've probably got a lot of 4-kill games in her. And anyone who plays World of Warships will know how frustrating that is. Sometimes you'll absolutely destroy an enemy team, get your 4 kills, and then miss out on maybe 2 or 3 or 4 other kills by just the tiniest amount. But that's the way it goes. Okay, so the first ship I'm going to show you is the Tier 3 Arkansas. Now, this is the ship that I bought in the Captain's Pack on sale. Now, I believe at the time it may have been around the $10 mark. And this is, of course, Australian currency we're talking about. And it was on sale. I don't think it was massively on sale. You're probably looking at maybe almost double that price normally. It may have been a bit less. But anyway, at the time I was umming and ahhing about getting a premium ship. As I said, this was only not too recently, but in the last perhaps 6 months. I really liked the look of the Arkansas and wanted a tier 3 premium ship that I actually wanted. and took the opportunity to purchase her. Now, I had seen some footage, YouTube videos of some of the guys that I follow, and they were actually raving about the ship. And I thought I'd give it a try, and when I did, I absolutely fell in love with her. She's such a great ship. Now, Tier 3 is a really fun tier. It's very, very quick to get into. Obviously, you're going to be skipping those tiers if you purchase this ship straight away or as soon as you possibly can. Look, I would probably almost recommend just playing up to Tier 3 of a few ships and sort of getting your feet wet in Tier 3. As Tier 3 is probably the first tier that you really start seeing a good mix of ships and have to start using a little bit more strategy and sort of planning ahead with where you're going and what you're going to do. And the Arkansas is just so much fun and so easy to use. It's a ship I love jumping into. And the amount of good games I've had in this ship and the amount of times I could have made videos with gameplay just would have flooded my channel. So I had to stop myself. But yeah, from my first game with this ship, absolutely fell in love with it. Now we're just going to have a quick look at her without the user interface on. She is a beautiful ship. The detail on her is really great. Now, of course, with premium ships, you get your premium bonus with all of your resources and score and points. That's why it becomes a very good grinding ship. And if you have premium membership as well going, you'll get even more bonuses. So, yeah, she's just a fantastic ship and will definitely help you with your grind. At the very worst case scenario, if you stand off and fire at ships at a bit longer range, you're going to score points anyway and probably get kills, as her HE and AP are both pretty decent. But she's not terrible in a brawling situation either. She has quite a few secondaries. We're going to have a look here. So you have the enhanced secondary targeting, so you can always pop that on when you come in close and maybe want to broadside a cruiser or a destroyer or another battleship. She has the repair party consumable, which gives you back your health, and of course the typical control party. And of course she comes with her own camouflage, which is a huge bonus. Now, of course, you're not going to be doing too much lurking about hiding with your camouflage. She's a battleship, but and I know people will say, oh, what about free battleships? Yeah, look, I actually think nearly every battleship is a great ship, and all of them are great for grinding. But I don't know, there's just something about the Arkansas, I really enjoy it, and it's just personally a ship that I love using. Now, there's many alternative ships to this one to use. Even at Tier 3, there's some great battleships, and they're all pretty comparable. But I'm going to say my alternative ship, which is another battleship that I really enjoy using, and I tend to always pop in and have a game with it. It's a very cool looking ship as well. But it is at Tier 5, and that is Bayern. Now, Bayern is, yes, it is at Tier 5, so it will take you a little bit longer to get to, but she's an awesome battleship and very forgiving in play styles. Has good, basically good general characteristics for a battleship, and her guns are definitely no slouch. So if I was going to recommend an alternative ship, this would be the one. So we're just going to have a quick look at her here. Now she's yeah, quite a chunky sort of beast. But when you see this ship on the seas, be wary of it because yeah, it's a very dangerous ship. I've had many enjoyable games in this ship, and as I said, I always tend to jump on at least have one game. If there's some missions or something like that where I need to use a battleship, or even want to get a lot of damage done or something like that, yeah, I do enjoy hopping into this ship here. Okay, so let's have a look at a little bit of Bayern's details. Okay, she is ironclad, above average armor thickness, greater resistance to all forms of armor penetration. Now you will notice that she is a tough lady, especially when you can angle or come right at somebody, get your armor happening. She is so tough. You'll absolutely love playing her. She's actually that tough that you actually get overconfident with her, and you'll know what I mean when you start playing. Or if you've come up against her before, you'll notice when you fired at her that you're like, wow, this ship's tough. Big guns. This ship is armed with high caliber main guns. She definitely has big guns. She's just a great ship. As I said, she's an all-round great battleship. Now, she's a great alternative to Arkansas, of course, because she's free and not a premium. All the battleships are really good in this game, I've found personally. You really can't go wrong with many of them. I mean, they do what they do well. But Bayern, I think, is just is so good. Sluggish aim, below average main battery traverse, close quarters combat can be a problem. Now, that's sort of hinting towards what I was saying. You can find yourself getting a bit overconfident and getting in close quarters, and you will actually notice that with the traverse speed with this ship. If you do get in too closer quarters, like pirate style, where you're broadsiding people, while those secondaries are good, you will be going, oh, geez, this traverse is pretty bad. So, you know, there's definitely no harm in getting close, getting into those close range brawling engagements with her, as she's so tough. And her guns are great, but maybe leave it to the point where you're about to finish off an enemy ship. Okay, Bayern. This warship belonged to the last series of battleships built for the Imperial German Navy. She was distinguished for her powerful 380mm main guns with extremely good shell ballistics and a rate of fire that was high relative to similar gun systems. That's something you will notice. Her ballistics are great, as is the Arkansas's, and she has a pretty high fire rate too. For this tier and this size, it's pretty good. Entered service 1916, ships in the Series 4. There's not much, not much else you can say about her. She's just a great all-round ship and a great alternative. Okay, so let's have a look at a few of the details of the Arkansas. So she's agile, above average ability to change direction, which is really good at tier 3 as you're coming up against some quite a lot of quick, small little ships. She has above average secondary reach, which is awesome. She's a little bit slow, but I don't think you'll particularly notice that when you're using it, not at tier 3 anyway. Now, the Arkansas is a dreadnought with good armor, reasonably good armament for her time, and balanced performance, typical of US Navy battleships. Due to lack of AA armament, the ship was vulnerable to airstrikes. Now, at the moment, of course, we don't have aircraft carriers in the game, so that's not really an issue. Entered service in 1912 and 2 ships in the series. So, yeah, she is very well balanced. And at tier 3, you can really dominate a lot of those enemy ships that are in the game. So this is a ship I really, I highly recommend, or at least check it out. Have a look how much it is, and keep it in mind. But yeah, my alternative ship, of course, is the Bayern, which is another good general all-round battleship. But you pretty much can't go wrong with any of the battleships. Okay, so now on to the destroyer class. And as you can see, I've got a Japanese Tier 5 destroyer here, and that's Fubuki. Now, I love this ship. I use this ship for a lot of missions and when campaigns pop up. Anything that needs kills, anything that needs torpedo strikes. She's okay at setting fires. She's good at capturing flags. She's just a great little destroyer. Now, and of course, one of her features, which is up there with the best, is her torpedoes, as is pretty typical with all the Japanese. Well, any ship that's Japanese has torpedoes is usually pretty good with them. So now, of course, we do have more recently the alternative destroyer line, and as you can see there, I've got a couple of them down this end of my my dockyard, which I still muck around with those, but I still love my Fabuki, and it is definitely a go-to ship for me. Now we're going to have a little bit of a look at her here. Now she is a little bit sort of high out of the water, which does make her a little bit more of a target. I would say that's probably only her only down point. Yeah, she's just a great ship to use, and yeah, really beautiful. Now this ship, of course, is not a premium ship. So you can just work your way straight up to this one in the Japanese tech tree. Now she does have a camouflage, however, or should I say a permanent camouflage. Now when they brought in the create your own camouflages, sort of the melting pots and everything like that, I did create a camouflage for this ship because I use it so much that it was well worth me doing it. So I've got a tier 3 permanent camouflage on this ship. Something I would definitely recommend. Now I have this ship down to, I believe, 5.2 kilometer range of being spotted, so I can get right up there next to enemy ships and get some really good torpedo kills, which is what she really excels at. You don't particularly want to get into, let's say, combat with this ship, but if you do, she's definitely no slouch. Her traverse speed is a little bit slow with the turrets, but she's got good HE firepower, and many times I've surprised enemy destroyers with how good she is. But her main skill is her ability to stay hidden and her torpedoes. So let's have a look. So yes, hidden is a bonus. You get good concealment, means the ship can get closer to enemies before being detected. Big yield, above average torpedo damage, but she does have sluggish aim, below average main battery traverse speed. Close quarters combat, problematic. Okay, so the Fubuki, this special type destroyer, shaped the development for destroyers in all navies of the world. Fubuki's greater dimensions allowed for significantly greater firepower, AA artillery, and an even more powerful torpedo armament. In terms of speed, however, Fabuki was somewhat inferior to destroyers of preceding classes. Entered service in 1928, ships in the Series 10. Again, she is a little bit slower. You will notice that, but it's not to a point where it's really going to hurt you. And as I said, when you're not getting spotted anyway, it really doesn't matter how fast you're going. Let's have the speed boost. We'll have a look here. She does have the typical engine boost, which is very helpful. She has your usual smoke generator, and of course damage control party. Now, unfortunately, she doesn't have the sonar or spotter plane or anything like that. So I would say this ship maybe takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you're able to know what you're doing and stay out of everybody's view, you can really rip them to shreds. Now, as I said, the strong point of this ship is her torpedoes. Now, she has 3 launchers, and they're all triples. So the good thing about them is that they're all separate, and they can fire on port or starboard. So you really have the luxury of deciding completely how you're going to use this ship. Do you want to fire a broadside barrage of torpedoes? Do you want to hold one lot in reserve? Do you want to fire one to port and one to starboard? It just gives you such flexibility. It's totally amazing. Now, I have the reload time on this down to 1 minute. Now, the best thing about this ship with a range of 10 kilometers, when you fire off a 10 kilometer at a 10 kilometer target or something about there, the torpedoes have basically not even made their the distance to the target before you're firing off another full load of torpedoes. It's just that good. Now, Tier 5 10 kilometer torpedo range is really good, and the torpedo speed is not super slow either. They're 63 knots, so they're really good torpedoes. They're spotted at 1.5k, so that's pretty good too. Maximum damage is 16,000 or nearly 17,000, and it's just a fantastic ship. I can't recommend this ship enough. If you love destroyers, I know each nation's ship destroyers do tend to be quite different. But I personally like to use them more in the sort of torpedo boat role, I guess you could say. But the good thing about this ship is she's not a torpedo boat. She's definitely a destroyer. And you can use the guns on it and the torpedoes on it. And she's a very solid workhorse of a ship. And I highly recommend it. Now, my alternative destroyer, there's so many choices out there, and it really depends on your style. You know, a lot of people lean towards the American destroyers, which are great. You know, each country's destroyers can give you something, and I could quite easily choose another Japanese destroyer as my alternative, but I'm not going to. So my alternative is the GAEDE. Now, There's a couple of reasons why I really like this ship. Number one, I'll show you here, she has the sonar ability. Now, this is such a massive bonus when you have this on a destroyer. Not only does it allow you to detect torpedoes that are coming your way a bit earlier, so you can maneuver around them. You can spot enemy ships that are sort of hidden away, or those within smoke screens. So what this really enables the GAEDE to do is target those enemy destroyers. You know, the amount of times I've had enemy destroyers pop a smoke screen and think they're hiding away in one, and this ship will just rip them to shreds. She's fantastic. Now she does have the usual smoke and torpedo boosts, but she's another really great ship. Let's have a look at it as well. And she's really gorgeous. Now, she's quite large, but anyone who uses German destroyers will be quite used to that. As we go along, our destroyers get bigger and bigger, seemingly. But that gives them, you know, quite a few bonuses. Now, I really love this ship, and this ship does have, I do have some Kraken Unleashed videos of this ship, which I'll put below in the description. Now, the only downside is the torpedoes aren't massively long range. They are 8 kilometers. Torpedo speed is still great though, it's 69 kilometers, and you have 2x4s, so you still have some really good torpedo coverage. Now, bear in mind this is tier 5. So tier 5, this ship is really good. Now, I tend to be very aggressive with this ship, and it really has paid off a lot of times. Her concealment's very good too, 5.5 Ks by sea. But yeah, she's great. Now let's have a bit of a look at the overview. So she's tough, above average HP rating, big guns. The ship is armed with high caliber main battery guns. Both of those things really make it great for destroyer on destroyer combat. The traverse speed of the turrets is a little bit slow. She has sluggish aim. You won't notice that so much, but yeah, just be wary of that. So she's one of the designs for the 1934 type destroyer. The ship was designed to be relatively large for her type and featured very powerful artillery armament of 150mm cruiser caliber guns. This caliber was very unusual for destroyers. Year of design 1933. Now she's just a great ship, and again at tier 5 it's reasonably quick to get to, not too expensive to run. Yeah, and really cool. Okay, so now on to my favourite ship in the game, and the one that I recommend to everybody, and that is the Konigsberg. Now this ship's at tier 4, so you can get to this ship relatively quickly and painlessly. She doesn't cost much to run, and she doesn't cost much to upgrade. She's not premium, so it's 100% free. Now I can rave and rant about how good this ship is for an hour, and I have in another video. Now I'm gonna put the detailed video I've done of this ship in the description below. Now, if you've got the time, yeah, give that a watch. I believe it was just under an hour I just spoke about this ship. That's how much I love it. Now, there's a few reasons why I would recommend this ship to everyone. Number one, it's a tier 4. It's quick and easy to get to. She's got some incredible guns. Now, granted, I have completely upgraded this ship and my commander, almost basically to the point where as far as I can. I did splash out, and I do have the permanent camo for her, which gives her the red funnels, which looks absolutely amazing. There's nothing I can really say that's bad about this ship. The only thing I would say is that it is typical of a cruiser. It is relatively lightly armoured, you can say, when you're coming up against battleships or other cruisers who are shooting AP and know what they're doing. But that's the same really with any cruiser out there. But what she has on her side is great manoeuvrability and speed. The other thing she has on her side are these guns. Now these guns can rotate 360 degrees in their turrets, which makes it quite unique. You'll surprise your enemies with it, and you'll fall in love with it. Basically what that allows you to do, if you're firing off to the starboard side here, and you're starting to get into some trouble with angles or something like that, you can just move over to your starboard side, and your guns will just rotate very quickly over to this left-hand side instead of going the long way, they'll just go zip, straight across to the left, and you'll be still firing a complete broadside, and you've angled. So within a few seconds, you'll be back to exactly the spot where you were, and you'll have a better angle. And it's just, I can't tell you how many times that's been amazing. Now again, I could have made a million videos on this ship. She's just fantastic. She also has torpedoes, which are great, and she has a lot of them. Has two separate lots, a port side lot and a starboard side, which is again fantastic. And when you are switching your guns, like I just mentioned, it allows you to fire off both sides of torpedoes as well at your target. She's a ship I would use primarily really to grind and get kills. She's just so fantastic. I almost think of her as an assassin. She can really kill any ship out there. In whichever way that you like, and you will eat destroyers for breakfast. Her guns are so accurate. Yeah, she's just a fantastic ship. So let's have a little bit of a look at the details here. So overview: full circle. Main battery turrets can rotate 360 degrees, which is a massive bonus. Massive bonus. Extended sonar. Again, helps you with those pesky destroyers. Sonar range or duration increased. Sparkless, below average chance for HE shells. Yes, she does have a below average chance to start fires for sure, but she still can do it. And you're firing off rounds pretty quickly anyway, and you have nine barrels firing them, so you still will cause fires, trust me. Now she is a light cruiser with artillery and torpedo armament that was quite powerful for her size. Konigsberg was the first among German cruisers to be equipped with aircraft handling equipment. One of her key features was the unconventional arrangement of her aft main turrets. Entered service in 1929. Ships in the Series 3. So that is another massive bonus. She has both aircraft and sonar. So you would definitely not be short of spotting. I love hunting down destroyers in this ship. She'll absolutely eat them alive. You can spot them in smoke. You can spot them when they're hiding around islands and set up an ambush. You've got your torpedoes to deal with them. You've got your great guns to deal with them. It's really hard to say anything bad about this ship. Now, again, the only thing I could really say is that, yeah, she does have armor on the lighter side, but there's so many bonuses to that, I actually don't mind. Now, torpedoes, like I said, are starboard and port. They're 6k range, which is really good, and fast at 64 knots. So, yeah, they're definitely not nothing to be laughed at. And I've got many kills with the torpedoes on this ship. Yeah, if you can find yourself a battleship, an unsuspecting battleship, you will absolutely wipe it out at tier 4, 5. It could probably even play tier 6. In all honesty, this ship, it is that good. Yeah, so I definitely recommend this ship. It would actually be my #1 recommended ship in the game. I think if you can get to this ship as quickly as possible, and the German cruiser line is fantastic anyway. Yeah, you will love using this ship. It does take a little bit of getting used to, because it is so unique and so different. But she's just gorgeous, and every time I get on World of Warships, this is the first ship I play. Now the alternative was very difficult, because I generally don't play cruisers. I'm much more of a destroyer fan. And Konigsberg really, to me, is just a gigantic, deadly destroyer. So it was quite hard to recommend a cruiser. Now, there's so many other cruisers that I jump in and have a bit of a game. And without recommending the Graf Spee, which is a premium ship, which is actually a little bit difficult to play and have a good game in, but is a lot of fun. My alternative is actually the Nurnberg. Two reasons for this. #1, it's just a bigger Konigsberg. And if you're playing Konigsberg anyway, you'll know exactly how to play this ship. And again, if you're playing Konigsberg enough, you'll unlock this ship. So Nurnberg's basically exactly the same as the Konigsberg. Hardly any difference at all, except you're playing at a higher tier, obviously. Again, she's got the torpedoes. She's got the same turrets. She's just gorgeous. Now, I am a German player, so I'm a little bit biased, so don't hold that against me. But yeah, look, there's plenty of good cruisers out there. They're all a little bit different. So it was very difficult to think of an alternative that I would recommend, but this one is yeah, is really good fun. Okay, so the overview, basically it's exactly the same as the Königsberg. Extended sonar, sparkless and full circle. This ship was developed from the Konigsberg class cruisers. In contrast to her predecessors, she had larger dimensions and featured reinforced turret armour. Moreover, she retained the main battery guns with the high performance characteristics, and the cruiser's AA defence comprised numerous anti-aircraft guns. 1935 was the entered service and one ship in the series. Yeah, there's not much more to say. She really is just a bigger, harder Konigsberg, and she's great fun. Again, her armour is a little bit on the lighter side, but it's a lot. It is quite a jump from the Konigsberg. But if you like Konigsberg, you'll love Nurnberg. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed that video. Now those primary 3 ships, they're just the 3 that I would use most for grinding, and probably the 3 I use most for challenges and missions. The only problem, of course, with the Tier 3 battleship is that sometimes the missions require a Tier 4 or higher quite often, so I can't actually use her, in which case sometimes I do jump in the Texas, which is the next tier up premium ship. But Bayern is a very happy replacement for that. So, yeah, these ships are all ships that I use to help me get those credits, bank up those credits and get those missions done, and gather in those rewards, which are all awesome. So yeah, at the moment, yeah, just taking a bit of a pause from the game. I'm about to head off on a little bit of a holiday. So I just wanted to get this video out there for some people that maybe have just started playing. Maybe this will give a little bit more hands-on advice from my friend, who I recommended without actually being able to show him any of the details. But yeah, I've hoped you've enjoyed this video. I hope it might give you an idea of a new ship that you want to work towards and give it a try. I'd love to hear people's feedback below. Do you think my recommendations are absolute crap? Do you feel the same way? Please check out some of the videos in the description. You'll get to see those ships in action. And I hope there's a ship in this list that you never thought of actually using, and now you might get there and you'll get to it and go, wow, yeah, Glory of the End was right. This ship is an absolute awesome ship. And I actually found that with the Arkansas, which I hadn't purchased for a long time, and also the Fabuki, which I was always into my German ships. I always played German destroyers, and eventually I sort of gave in and you could say, or cracked, and started playing Japanese destroyers and really fell in love with them. And I would probably play 90% Japanese destroyers, or whatever you want to call them as well, torpedo boats, gunboats, and 10% German destroyers now, because yeah, the Japanese destroyers are just, for me personally, in my play style, head and shoulders above the rest. So yes, thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying World of Warships at the moment. I hope you've enjoyed another video that I've put out there. I hope you check out the rest of my channel. I hope you have a great New Year's. It's just coming up. Looking forward to a much better 2021 than 2020 has been. And I know you'll all agree with me on that one. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hope to see you soon. Bye for now.